In terms of the Naginera Navodaya and the equivalent in the north, these are multi-billion rupee investments, portfolios that are going to take root over the next couple of years. What can the public do to hold government accountable for the monies that it receives?
One thing, they are basic needs.
And may I add also non-governmental organizations as well. I mean, anybody who's involved in development in Sri Lanka, what can the public do to hold them accountable for the monies received?
Now, of course, those are two sectors. One thing is the public sector, that there are ways and means of controlling the corruption. In the government sector, there is public sector. But in NGO sector, it's very difficult. But with all that, if somebody can get some information about some corruption or this mismanagement, whatever, there are some laws that which can be applied, but it's not that easy.
But it seems to be the case that, in terms of my perception at least, and you might beg to differ, that the government seems more interested in regulating or holding the non-governmental sector accountable and transparent, as opposed to sorting its own shop.
I think the duty of the government is to see that the both public sector and the non-governmental sector both transparent and accountable.
I want to come back
because in government and the public sector, this NGO sector, both the concept is the same. That is the public trust, that you repose some trust and give them some money for a particular purpose. And if they don't use it for that purpose, of course, it's a breach of trust. It's a criminal offense. It includes cheating also.
I mean, given some like really heart-wrenching tales of parents trying to get their children into the first-year admissions and the reportage on that account, a lot of the corruption seems to stem from that issue. How does a parent interested in the best for his child address that?
No, that is the system is wrong, because we have not implemented
Are you saying that everybody has to fight the system?
That's right, because the duty of every citizen, because one can't.
Can you fight the system?
In different capacities, we have to do it, but in one aspect where that I did it as the chairman of the corps, it's a different footing. But even in my private life, that whenever that I see some corruption, whatever the possible action I can take, that I take.
If it is the easy option, would you still, on principle?
On principle, for example, now when these corruptions were taking place, that is as loopholes in the circular issued by the Ministry of Education when they have to take the children for the grade 1. So I am the one who fought it in the Supreme Court and got that circular annulled, because they have a lot of rooms for them to get involved in corruption. Then I took some parents to the Supreme Court, then I fought it and I got that circular annulled. Just to have some transparency and accountability, it's a duty on the part of the government and especially the Ministry of Education to have a proper system. Then everybody will be happy whether your child is taken or not. That's everybody will be happy. At least some law has been applied equally in a reasonable manner. Now here, as it is, that when people come to know that my next door neighbor's child has been taken to the best school in the country by giving a bribe, then of course then you are losing the whole confidence in the system.
And it begets more corruption, obviously.
More corruption, and they also tempted to do corruptions, because the people also want to have the best school for their child. Then this is a normal attitude. Sometimes you can't blame also. But with getting involved in corruption means that, of course, they are also contributing for a disaster.
So how do you create that stigma about being associated with a corrupt practice?
That means?
If a parent is interested in getting his or her child into the best school and sees no problem with a corrupt practice to do that, how do you create...
No, I am not endorsing what I say.
Exactly, but how do you create that social
impact,
censure against that practice in a country that doesn't have it at all?
No, for that, of course, that you will have to follow a proper principle, and you can have a proper scheme.
So you're talking about a principled society.
Principled society, that's right, because it must stem from as far as official matters are concerned.
So even in light of a government that might not be principled, you want polity and society to be principled?
No, we'll have to do it gradually, because otherwise you'll have to give up the hopes, but we are living in hopes. Therefore, in a society that whatever the little bit of improvement that we must contribute for it. That is how that any country has come up. I think it's a duty of all of us that in this vituperative politics, of course, the people are more concerned about their private agendas and political parties. As a result, of course, finally you are giving more and more waste for the high magnitude corruptions in the country. So we must think in terms of a country and a nation. That is why I said that in the parliament also, the select committee means you choose the politics just to get the license to enter into the parliament. So once you become a member of the parliament or a member of a select committee, then it is not there for you to do politics. That is a national duty.
Well, I hope your wiser counsel prevails, Mr. Rajapaksha, and all the very best in your efforts to stem corruption from Sri Lanka. Thank you for joining us today.